While of course the big hype this week was the announcement of some more features of the PS5 via the Wired.com interview that we covered on Cross Circle this week, make sure to go check out that podcast, that episode of Cross Circle that goes live every Tuesday morning. However, we did get some new stuff involving PSVR pertaining to some sales that are celebrating its 3rd anniversary, as well as some patents that seem to be pointing at the hypothetical much improved only a patent PSVR 2. Wow, that rhymed. Okay, Kevin. Okay, what is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD1 here, back again with a video here on PlayStation Source, and we're going to cover all things PSVR here in this video. And so if you guys, of course, were unaware, this week on October 13th, it will be coming up on the 3rd anniversary of the PSVR launching. I can't believe it's been 3 years, because honestly, it feels like the PSVR dropped not that long ago, but indeed it has been 3 years, and PlayStation is making sure that they are giving the sales in a very celebratory fashion on PSVR's 3rd birthday. And so you all know my story on the PSVR. I don't have a PSVR yet. I know Christian does. He enjoys it here and there, but if you do have one like Christian, you will be able to get some PSVR titles for 60% off, as well as they kind of detailed some new games that are coming this week. And so I want to just go over maybe those first. So we have a couple games that are coming out this October, including this one here called Bonfire on October 22nd, as well as Audica or Audicia, however you say that, November 5th, coming later on in November, which seems like a really cool like Amplitude type of game to it, kind of like ones that Harmonix use. Oh wait, no, it's actually from Harmonix. Okay, cool. That definitely makes sense. We also have another game here called Paper Beast launching in early 2020, as well as Pixel Ripped 1995, which is going to come out in spring 2020. So they have a bunch of other games that are coming out in the later end of the year, as well as The Room VR, A Dark Matter, coming in again in spring 2020. But if you want some sales right now to celebrate, they have a bunch of titles that are 60% off. So I'm gonna first go over the European ones, then I'll go over the ones that are for the States. Pretty sure they might be the same, or there might be a lot of crossover. But from the October 9th through the 23rd, you will be able to get games such as The Elder Scrolls VR, Skyrim VR, Super Hot VR, Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, Batman Arkham VR, Doom VF VR, Creed Rise to Glory, and more will be 60% off. And I'll of course include a European link down below for those games, and then as well as over here on the United States side of things, we have a bunch of other games, including again Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, Super Hot, Wolfenstein, Batman Arkham VR, which I don't think was available in the European one, Doom VFVR, and of course Creed, and a bunch of others will be 70% off, so a little bit more. And those sales in the States will be going from October 8th through the 22nd, so make sure to go pick up that. And again, if you want to hear more about the other games, because there's a bunch of sales right now for VR games, literally I feel like a good chunk, if not all of them, are definitely discounted. I know I see here on the list we have Borderlands 2 VR at $25. You know, we have a bunch of other ones here as well. Persona 5 Dancing in Moonlight and Dancing in Starlight as well. We have Resident Evil 7 with the VR version, Tetris Effect as well, another favorite of Christian's. Check out the links down below if you're interested in picking up some PSVR games for the low for the PSVR's 3rd birthday. Now, of course, shifting gears from that whole thing, just wanted to make sure y'all were aware if you are, owning a PSVR, because likely you would have owned a PSVR if you are watching this video. So just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of these sales going on for a lot of different games in PSVR's stable of different games that they have for the hardware. But moving on to the main meat of this video, we are talking about a patent that was approved, that was filed by Sony, that is adding on to some stuff that we've had before with the patents for PSVR, but this one definitely seems like this legit seems like it's going to be the next PSVR. Like this is the PSVR 2 follow-up to the original PSVR. And so of course this comes coupled with our whole coverage on PS5, and there's definitely some things that make sense on those two fronts that kind of work and play together to make this more legitimate. So just before we get into this, right, you all know my gripes with PSVR. The reason why I am waiting to get the second model, or hypothetical second iteration, is because I know that the setup process is kind of insane with the original PSVR. There's a lot of wires, there's a separate processing box. Like, it just seems like there's a lot going on that I don't have the space for here, at least in my room and stuff like that. And I definitely want a more streamlined, a better way to just put on PSVR whenever I want, and not have this big whole setup process. And it looks like that's what they're removing here with the PSVR 2. So we have patents here up on the screen. This was reported to us by Let's Go Digital, and of course the article is from Pushsquare. Links all down below to the sales, as well as this article down in the description. And so it says here that there will be cameras in the front and the rear of this hypothetical PSVR headset. And what's more interesting here is that on the patent, it says that it is the PlayStation 5 virtual reality headset. So it's specifically, citing the PS5. And of course, we know that the PS5 will be backwards compatible with the original PSVR, as well as it will be, VR ready processing wise out of the box. You don't need a separate box like you did with the PS4 and the PS4 Pro iterations of those consoles. So pretty cool to see that there. And it's saying a lot of different things about it, including the front and rear cameras, which I assume will be used to better dictate, motion and where you are in the room. Like maybe if the camera can see you're like close to a wall behind you, maybe, they can tell you to move up or something like that, or just have more spatial awareness in the game translated in the room you're in and stuff like that. So maybe that's why they have those cameras there, but I think it's a pretty neat idea. But also they have something here hinting about the front cameras, is that there is something about a transparent view. And so allegedly here, according to this patent, you will be able to see the real world if you need to, reset something, or you need to move something off a table, or you need to go run, get a drink or something like that. You don't have to take off the headset anymore. You can just, I guess, somehow flip the switch or whatever, and the front camera will, I believe, enable and allow you to see the real world through the headset. And so I think that is pretty cool, and maybe that could also be used into some other games, including like augmented reality, as we've seen on the PS Vita, where it used its front-facing camera to be able to map and do things like the game Pokemon Go type deal of augmented reality. So you could do maybe those things on this hypothetical PSVR 2, which I think could be really neat. I think it'd be really cool. Like imagine you're playing some sort of like sword game or like some sort of Star Wars game, and there's weapons on a rack on the wall, so you can walk up to the wall in your room and there's weapons in there and you can grab them. Like, I think that could be really neat. That could be some really cool stuff that I think could really push VR and just different VR games. Now the rear camera, I think that's mainly just for awareness of you, and maybe it could alert you if you're getting close to a wall, something like that. I don't know the reasoning for the rear camera. Or maybe, I guess, you're not always facing forward in VR, so I guess that could also be coupled with tracking, because it's not like they can only have the cameras in the front and then have that person turn around in game and somehow still track him. So I guess that kind of makes sense to have the camera in the back. That's, that like charges more than just for safety precautions. But there's also some more things, as well as a camera on the controller, which I thought was quite interesting, because I never thought that there would be a camera on the controller. But again, maybe that could be used also for more accurate tracking of your motion of the hands and stuff like that. So I think that could be really cool there as well, and just to make it overall more immersive. And as well as one of the biggest things here that I was most excited for, right, along with all the cool AR stuff that they could hypothetically be doing with this new PSVR 2, is that there is a mention of Bluetooth connectivity. So this could mean, hopefully, that the PSVR 2 is going to be wireless, which would definitely make me more sold on this technology. Because 100%, if the PSVR 2 comes out and they confirm that the PSVR 2 does have Bluetooth connectivity and it won't be using wires or that big, well, not big, like it's not big box, but still a lot of those wires, whatever, and you can just connect it to the PS5 with Bluetooth, that would be fire. I would love that so much. I really want that. And I think that would help a lot of people also in my position, like really double down on VR that I wanted to, but just don't want to deal with that hassle of wires and everything. And I know it's not the biggest thing in the world. I know it's not the biggest issue in the world. Like, once you get it set up, I'm sure it's fine, but I just would rather much have a headset that is wireless and be able to do that, and like have a lot more like free reign and everything and stuff like that. So it could be really cool if that does end up being true. But there's also some other stuff here with the PSVR 2 patents that include LEDs and a built-in microphone that we've already seen on the current PSVR, so not the biggest deal. And then they also say that it will work in tandem once again with with a PSVR camera, of course, having to pick up on the motion of you and the headset and stuff like that. So that could mean that maybe you're going to be able to use the original PlayStation camera, or maybe they are going to release another one that maybe has better technology, better overall, type of tracking, tech maybe in there. Perhaps that could be what they're alluding to here in this patent as well, but that wasn't explicitly stated in that patent. So that was just a guess on my part. But what do you guys think about this hypothetical PSVR 2 that Sony patent? Do you like it? Do you really want it? What do you want in the PSVR 2 that will make you buy one if you haven't bought one already, or make you buy the new one if you have the original? What improvements do you want, in the PSVR 2 model? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And make sure also, while you are down there, to check out our description where you can find our different links down below, our Twitter, our Discord. Make sure you join that Discord channel, as well as our Anchor link if you want to listen to our long form content in podcast format, that including the Cross Circle podcast, as well as Road to Part 2, our weekly podcast, with Road to Part 2 dealing with The Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2, as well as Cross Circle dealing with all things PlayStation. Make sure you go check out that Anchor link down below in the description. Thank you for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.